Well, the time is just gone 9:54 a.m. And just a point of correction with the last interview we had with Feiruz Mohammed regarding the Zakah workshop. Inquiries for the Zakah workshop in Emiransha Greenside, you can contact Abba Maria Mia on mia@salamedia.com. And this is taking place on Sunday the 12th and not tomorrow. So it is taking place on Sunday the 12th. We need to just correct that. But coming to what we need to talk about now, and Alhamdulillah, as a Muslim Ummah, we are blessed. We are blessed in more ways than one. And the ulama remind us over and over again, looking at where we are as a country, looking at the problems that we are faced with in the country. And one thing that has been protecting the Muslim Ummah is how charitable we have been. We've seen ulama come through, respected, honorable ulama coming from other parts around the world. And this is something that they've noticed in South Africa, the charitable nature of this community, the sadaqah, the zakat, but also at the same time looking at the commitment of people, of organizations that do sterling work within our communities. And it takes a lot. And we know that in many, in fact, in almost all instances, these are not paid jobs, but people do it uh, out of their own free will. They do it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do it for the benefit of mankind. And one of these organizations is the Fordburg Muslim Youth Organization. And this is the reason why we are talking with our honorable, our respected Moulana Taahir Salloo, a member of the FMYO and also the Imaam of the Mayfair Jumma Masjid. Moulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, and an absolute pleasure having you with us this morning here on Salam Media.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Ji Maulana, I just want you to touch just for a few minutes on what I had said, in terms of how blessed we are as a Muslim Ummah, where we've got people that are so committed in serving the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing things for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and more importantly, even for the benefit of our Muslim brothers and sisters.
Without doubt, one of the greatest strengths of the Ummah is the fact that we have such dedication within the Ummah. As the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without doubt, we find such levels of enthusiasm and commitment by people in the Ummah that it is not just in the field of charity, but almost in every other field. There are people that go beyond the call of duty, and people who are so passionate about serving the Ummah. And I think this is one of the greatest traits of this Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why in the hadith we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a group of people for the service of humanity. And these are the people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for them to serve fellow mankind. And within the Ummah, we are not short of that. And this is something that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always preserve in the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. And also looking at an organization like the Fordburg Muslim Youth Organization, the month of Ramadan is coming up, and like many other organizations right across the entire country, it is a time of the year that we look forward to, and also at the same time to even looking at ways of serving the Ummah a lot more in better ways, but also in terms of gearing ourselves as an organization, preparing ourselves, Maulana.
So preparation for the month of Ramadan obviously is an integral part of the month of Ramadan. We don't just simply go into the month of Ramadan, completely unprepared, but instead we prepare for this well in advance. And many of our organizations tend to increase the efforts in the month of Ramadan, even though organizations generally strive throughout the year. But in the month of Ramadan, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was so much more generous in the month of Ramadan compared to out of the month of Ramadan. So yes, organizations like the FMYO, Fordburg Muslim Youth Organization, do exert themselves even beyond what is normally done throughout the year for the preparations of the month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. And this is something which we see throughout the Ummah. People in the month of Ramadan exert themselves, and this is exactly what we are taught in the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Now I see one of the initiatives is the Zam Zam for Masjids project, Maulana.
Correct. That is one of the projects of the FMYO, where Zam Zam is made available to various masajid, and Alhamdulillah, the call the request was put out, and requests have been received from almost all parts of the country, alhamdulillah. This has been made possible, and now the distribution has already started, alhamdulillah. And the objective behind this is that when people make iftar predominantly in the masajid, at least there will be some zamzam that will be present there. Many people out there in the world, in the ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, have never had the good fortune of performing Hajj or Umrah. Some have never had the good fortune of having zamzam at home. So this was just a little effort to try and make sure that we can get zamzam as far as possible throughout the country. And in fact, this has extended very beautifully, if I may say, where Zamzam water is even being sent currently from here to Masjid al-Aqsa, where it will be used for iftar in the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept that initiative. It is one of the initiatives for the month of Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah. In fact, that's very, very encouraging from what you have just described, Moulana. And we know the FMYO is extensively involved as far as burial is concerned as well, as far as the cemeteries, and also in terms of providing valuable services in the event of mayats and funerals as well, but also looking at other aspects of FMYO's involvement in the community, the whole question surrounding medical supplies. And we know the state of healthcare in the country. Many people can't afford. Right now, as we are talking, we've got these horrific images of strikes and, what people are actually going through, patients in hospitals. And this is an area that FMYO has featured very, very prominently, Moulana.
Alhamdulillah, that was an initiative that I think grew drastically during the time of COVID, when the oxygen concentrators were made available. But beyond that, we realized that people are in need of other medical equipment as well. So, for example, the hospital beds that people require at home, the walkers, etc. And alhamdulillah, that is a project that continues throughout the year. And it ranges across the board, Muslim and non-Muslim, any person who is in need of any commodes, etc. So whenever people require any medical equipment, alhamdulillah, this is made available to them. And we find that over time, people are becoming more comfortable using these, all of these equipment. So it has made a huge impact on the Muslim community. So that is obviously one of the services that FMYO provides. When it comes to the aspect of which we touched on the funerals, I think sometimes, and I mentioned a few days ago, when it comes to funerals, one is just doing the actual ghusl and doing the actual janaza, and that is just one part of it. But I think beyond that, FMYO, alhamdulillah, has also run classes to teach the community how to do a ghusl when a person passes away. The setting up of other ghusl facilities, the cleanup of the cemeteries, the paving, the extra land now acquired. All of this here is obviously part of that. But on that note, I think it is something that is so encouraging, which I just thought is important to mention. At times of doing ghusl, alhamdulillah, the teams, as we all know, are unpaid volunteers. So sometimes you get a janaza, a ghusl needs to be done 1 o'clock in the morning, and the teams come out, whether it's male, whether it's female. But the impact this has got on the ummah is phenomenal. There have been many instances where a person in the family is not a Muslim. They come, they witness the compassion of those giving ghusl and doing the kafan and doing the burial, and people have actually become interested, and some have accepted Islam just based on that, which is an amazing aspect for the ummah to realize what is our responsibility when it comes to that. And one other thing which I just thought is so encouraging, recently there was a little baby that passed away, and the parents were not from South Africa. When they came and FMYO were doing the ghusl, the mother was so concerned, and she said, we are in a complete foreign country, we know absolutely nobody. Who will attend the janazah of my child? And she was so concerned about this. The ghusl took place at the ghusl facility at Mayfair Jumma Masjid, and it was on a Friday. And after Jumma Salah, immediately the announcement was made that there is a janazah taking place. And you would understand that what type of a crowd is there for Jumma. And alhamdulillah, there was such a huge crowd. The mother was in tears, and she said, I cannot believe the strength of the ummah, that people who don't even know us, we're from another country, and look at the amount of people that came out to read Salatul Janazah upon my child. Now, That is something that is very, very encouraging, not just for FMYO and our volunteers, but for the entire Ummah. And that is why we implore upon people in the community, especially our youth, to get involved in these type of initiatives, because it is really, really needed.
Yes, Molana, and also asking people to get involved, but also at the same time for people to contribute towards all these wonderful and these worthy causes. And I'm sure there's a lot of information that is available in terms of who to contact and how people can get in touch with the people at FMYO.
Correct. The person who generally tends to all of our janazas is Brother Muhammad Lahe. His number is on the screen at the moment. Uncle Amin Minty, Brother Riaz Mullah. There are quite a few volunteers, Brother Yusuf Kaji. But if you see the predominantly numbers that are there is for your medical, for your welfare, and for your burial. And you can contact any one of them. And Alhamdulillah, they will gladly assist. Our Amir of Barial, Muhammad Lahe. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed him like his father, the late Uncle Musa Lahe, used to go out of his way to try and get the youth involved and to teach them with compassion. And we've seen this coming out throughout the communities. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our communities, bless all of our organizations, so that we can serve the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Maulana, Jazakallah khairan so much, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your efforts and everybody else at the FMYO as well, inshallah, and to keep us inspired with the wonderful work that is being done. And we wish you all the best, Maulana. In fact, it is the day of Jumma, alhamdulillah, and also for the month of Ramadan. Jazakallah for your time with us this morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Moulana Taahir Salloo with us this morning, and with that, we're going to go for a quick break. We come back, we're going to get a short update coming through from Sheikh Muntaha Kenny, and this is with regard to the International Qira initiative that is taking place right across the country as we speak.